Can you please let me know if you can see my screen already?
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic. Perfect. So yeah, I can see that there's still people joining, but I think it's a good time to begin with the session. So you know that this session, as we said already, is going to be recorded. So no worries if you later want to share it internally, you will have both the recording and the slides. Also, I want to remind you to please add your questions in the chat box. Like that, at the end of the session, we will take some time for a Q&A and we'll make sure to answer you. This is just to make sure that we can complete the session, because if we stop for every question, as we know, we will take very, very long. So please add them in the chat box. This is the agenda for today. We will start with an introduction, and as I said, we will finish with a Q&A, and we are going to, these are the topics that we are going to be covering. The objective today, as you know, is to walk you through all the different ways in which you can use the platform to strengthen your corporate partners strategy. And we are going to start by introducing ourselves. My name is Lorena Rodriguez, and I work as Senior International Success Manager for JobTeaser for over almost 4 years now. And I work with all of our schools and universities, not only in Spain, but also I have clients in Italy, the UK, the Netherlands, Portugal. So I have a very broad scope. I'm very happy to be the success manager of many of you in your universities. Some of you we haven't yet met. So hi, very nice to meet you. And at the end of the session, again, you will have my contact details. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to me or your own point of contact at JobTeaser. And I let my colleague Valentine also introduce himself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Valentine. I work in the same team as Lorena, and I'm also quite some years already at JobTeaser. I'm very happy to see some familiar faces in this training, but I'm also excited to see a lot of new faces for me. So thanks for being with us today, and I look forward to hearing all of your questions afterwards.
Thank you, Val. So we are going to begin like we always do, talking about our mission. You are all, I'm sure, more than familiar with our mission statement. You know that our objective is always to prepare the new generations to reach their full potential, embrace their future with optimism, and to make their mark in the world. And we know that this is a mission and an objective that we share with all of you. And of course, being able to build a strong network of partnerships, it is a key part of this mission, because it is really important for us to facilitate this connection between students and recruiters or companies in order to help them understand and get more visibility about the different sectors, different positions, and ultimately understand what they want to do or what they want to or they would like to work. So of course, our work with corporate partners, it is essential to achieve this final objective of helping our students. You know that in JobTeaser, our ecosystem is something that we really treasure. It's something very important for us. And we have created this ecosystem that connects not only us with universities and business schools and students, but also with more than 70,000 employers. And when we talk about supporting our partner companies, we are going to start by talking about employer brand visibility. It's going to be the first point in our agenda. And when we talk about employer brand visibility, if we begin the session, when we talk about employer brand visibility, we are talking about how a concrete company is perceived by students, because this is key to engage them and motivate them to apply for a position with a concrete company. According to the latest study that we did in JobTeaser, it was called Gen Z, How to Recruit Them. We saw how 80% of candidates that participated in this study, they said that they researched companies before they applied. And this is why we want to begin this session by focusing on how you can use the Career Center to help your partner companies enhance their employer branding proposition, because this is the way that they can stand out and attract your students' interest. The first tool that we need to talk about is of course, the company profiles. For those of you that maybe are not so familiar yet, a company profile is a dedicated space in the Career Center where your partner companies can share as much information about themselves as they want. This includes videos, news, events, job opportunities, testimonials. I'm going to give you a very simple introduction that once again, at the end of this session and later, we can dig in and go into more detail if you want. There are two different types of company profiles. One is simple and one is more complete. You can see very easily here the difference. And also I will let you know that there are two ways of creating a company profile. It depends on your own corporate partner strategy. You can either offer your partner companies to create a profile for them, and you can also just simply share a link and that will allow them create a profile by themselves. So if you would like to know more about this, of course, as I said, you can also access our help center. You will have the access to the link, as you can see in the slide, how to create a company profile. You can find a lot of information there, but it is something that you can review with your point of contact at Job Teaser. The second key tool that you can use when defining your partner-employer brand strategy is what we call partnership levels, and this is directly related to what we saw about company profiles. A partnership level, what it does is that it allows you to establish different levels of partnership and to mark each of your partners with a corresponding level. For example, you can have a strategy where you define 3 different levels of partnership: gold, silver, bronze, premium. And with all the corporate partners that have a company profile, you can give them a concrete level. What are the benefits of using this system of partnership levels? First of all, it allows you to establish a ranking of partnership. So you can order your partners by the level of like close relationship that you have. For example, you can mark those that are gold partner and they will always appear on top of the list of corporate partners. So this will give you, of course, additional visibility. You can also decide to give access to your talent bank or CV database to a certain level of partnership. This is something that we will review later more in detail. But for example, you can mark a set or a concrete group of very close partners with gold partner level and decide that these 4, 5, 6 companies will have direct access to your CV database. It can help you define different partnership packages that we will also see later on. And what we are going to do now that we have reviewed very quickly what is a company profile and how you can play with this tool of partnership levels is I'm going to show you very quickly live in the Career Center how this will look like. So please, can you confirm that you are seeing the Career Center right now? Perfect. So if we go to the companies module, of course, here you can see, for example, how your students will see all the different companies that have a company profile. You can see how here all the companies appear labeled with a level of partnership. And as I mentioned, what you can do is that you can rank them. So all the partners that you label with gold partner will appear on first. On a second level, you will have partners that are silver, for example, and later those that are marked as bronze. This is just an example. You can decide the name of the different levels, and you can decide the order, which ones will appear on top and which ones will appear next. So as you can see, it gives you a lot of possibilities on how to work with the different partners, how to rank them, how to organize them. And just to give you an example of a complete company profile, if we check, for example, for a company with a complete company profile, to give you a quick visibility, Amazon, for example, they have a complete company profile, and this means that it is a very broad and complete one. If a student checks the profile of Amazon, they will see information about themselves, they will see information about the different teams, the job opportunities that they have available, events and news, and much more. So this is, for example, a concrete and very good example of a full company profile that we call. So you can see that in terms of employer branding, having a company profile in the Career Center can be really valuable and really interesting. We are going to go back to the presentation now. And we are going to move to the next section, and we are going to talk about effective recruitment. What we want to show you is briefly all the tools at your disposal in the platform that will help you match the right audience with the right employer, or what we like to call how to do effective recruitment. I'm sure that you all know that the offers that come from your partner companies, whether as a recruiter or as a company profile, they are exclusive for your students, and they are identified in the front office with a locker. You know that the students have the option to filter directly to see only those offers that are exclusive to them. And this, of course, makes the offers easier to access and gives them more visibility. In this sense, what I want to remind you here is that it is very important that you communicate to your students that exclusive opportunities are only visible for them, that they are reviewed and especially selected by the career services, and that they come from partner companies who have a special interest in your students' profiles. At the end of the day, this is the most important part, because if the students are aware of the exclusivity of these offers and how they are especially curated for them, they will be more keen always to use this filter to check the special offers that you are sharing for them. Another key advantage that you can offer to a specific partner company to support the recruitment needs is to give them direct access to your talent bank. As I was mentioning before, when we were talking about different partnership levels, as I explained very quickly, you can decide which level of partnership will have access to your talent bank. The key advantages of using this tool, this will make companies, it will make their recruitment much more agile, because they can reach out directly to the students. They don't need to upload an offer. They don't need to wait for the offer to be validated, and waiting also for candidates to apply. It's also much more agile for you, because you do not need to be reviewing and validating job opportunities, animating and motivating students to apply. That sometimes can be time consuming. It's directly the company that filters to see the profiles that adapt to their needs and can reach out directly. And it also brings additional value for the students, because they know that once they are part of the career center or your concrete platform, they do not only have the offers that they can apply to, but they will also have the opportunity to be directly contacted by the company. We know that this probably generates many questions, so if you have any, please add it to the chat box and we will review it later. Job offers being identified as exclusive and direct access to your talent bank are definitely the two key tools when we talk about effective recruitment. And now I'm going to show you two additional instruments that can be really useful and that you can propose to your companies to facilitate the recruitment strategy. One of them is tags, and the other one is what we call quick links. Tags, as you can see in this slide, is basically a label that you can create and you can use to mark or identify job opportunities. I have created some examples for you. Usual tags that are used by some of our universities are urgent, startup, career fair opportunity, non-profit, recommended. And basically, these are filters that are specific for each of you. You can decide how many different tags that you create, how you name them. And the objective is to help companies identify the offers more accurately. And also students can use them in the front office to filter and find offers in an easier way. So for example, if you have a job opportunity that has many different features, but you want to remark that is something especially recommended for your students, you can create a tag that is called recommended and mark job opportunities with it. It's just one of the many examples of ways that you can use your tags. So again, I recommend you that if you think this can be useful, please reach out to your point of contact at JobTeaser and you can see how you can use this instrument. Useful links are the second tool that I wanted to talk about. You can see it on the slide on the sorry, On the bottom right corner, you can see this example is called Discover Our Exclusive Opportunities. As you can see, it's basically a button that appears on the dashboard of every student. And they are visible in the main page. So whatever information that you share in this section is going to be visible for every single student every time they connect. So it's for sure, it's another way to facilitate the students' access. And not only we are talking about job opportunities, but you can also use it to give maximum visibility to any other information. You can create a useful link to concrete events, to concrete resources, to a concrete set of job opportunities. So it gives you also many different opportunities. And it's very simple to use. So again, if you think it can be useful, let us know, and we will be more than happy to help you use this tool. We are now going to talk about how you can facilitate the student-employer dialogue via the Career Center. And we are going to start talking about events. This is the #1 tool that can be used to facilitate this interaction, right, between companies and students. As you know, the platform allows you to create and manage many different types of events. They can be presentations, job fairs, they can be interviews in a very easy way. They can also be organized to take place online. And events are a fantastic way for your partner companies to dedicate some time to talk face-to-face, even if it's virtually, with your students, to answer their questions and just directly connect and engage with them. An additional tip that I want to give you for extra visibility when we talk about events is the events carousel. I don't know if all of you are familiar, but the events carousel is, can you see correctly the slide? Sorry, just to make sure, Valentine. Is it visible, the image?
At the minute,
It's
shows
blank.
white.
It's white, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm going to show you live. So like that, you will see it in a much easier way. So once you create your events, we are going to talk about the use of events more in detail in a minute with my colleague Valentine. But just to give you an idea of how you can use the events to give also more visibility to your companies, what you can do is that you can, once you have created a list of events, you can pin up to 5 events that you choose, and they will appear in this events carousel. So you can see that there are many different events available for the students, but those 5 events that you choose will always appear here with preference, giving them extra visibility. So I think it's something that probably most of you know how to do, but if you would like to know in detail, it's something that we can see very easily later on. We are going back now to the presentation. Sorry. And in connection with events, I just wanted to remind you very, very briefly that there is an option to make the CV upload compulsory when registering to an event. For those of you, especially that are more familiar with the organization of events via the Career Center, you can select this option. You can say, I want all the students registering to the event to upload their CV. And why can this be useful? Because it can be a very easy way to generate a CV talent bank specific for the students that attended an event. And this talent bank connected to an event can be accessible exclusively to the company organizing the event. It will include only the CVs of those students attending, and it will remain accessible to the companies for as long as you establish. So this is something that you will need together with your success manager and your teaser. So once again, if you like this idea, if you think it can be useful for you, if you organize events with corporate partners and having this specific talent bank can be nice, don't hesitate to ask for it, because it can be done and it can be really interesting. And now I'm going to give the virtual floor to my dear colleague Valentine, who is going to first go more into detail how to make the most of your events tool with your partners strategy, and we'll continue with the presentation.
Thank you, Lorena. So we see indeed in our network that online events are an excellent format to connect employers with young talents. But at the same time, we hear both from students and employers that they not always get out of it what they were hoping for. And after this is mostly related to expectations that were not fully aligned, or the sessions was simply not memorable enough. So how can you as career services maximize the chances of meaningful conversations during these events? We believe a starting point there is setting your employers up for success. So first, when you discuss event participation with employers, we recommend that you really take a moment to define the participation objectives. For example, does the employer have any open positions available for students? Then really give a heads up and showcase it. Or alternatively, is it more a meet and greet session to learn more about the company environment? Then also specify it beforehand. And what we learned is that you can really narrow down the desired audience that an employer likes to reach. Because if you do so, then you can, for example, consider making the event only visible for a targeted group of students. Now, as a next step, you can advise your employer on the content strategy. So every event page basically is an opportunity to creatively catch the students' interest. And you can anticipate a bit on their expectations by introducing the company representatives, so the speakers of the session that will host the session, so they can get familiar with who they are going to meet, which helps young talents feel more at ease because of the human touch. Now, you can also consider to offer a bit your consulting skills by outlining what students like to hear. For example, make it a session where you put one theme central, such as sustainability, a very hot topic nowadays, or involve your employer in hosting a skills workshop. This ultimately helps to brand and to promote the event better. Now, if we look at the pre-event process, there is often a focus on getting the administration done, and this is not always a smooth process, as some of you probably recognize. But the lesson we want to give here is to really start early on showcasing the employer as a participant, because a dedicated event page and the company profile with the label, as Lorena was presenting, it really enables companies, especially I would say the smaller SMEs that don't really have that brand recognition yet. And this way, if you start early and showcasing that they will attend an event, it really is an opportunity for them to start building their corporate brand. And this allows them also to promote their attendance to your event on other channels, such as LinkedIn. And for you, ultimately, as career services, this can also be a kind of win-win because you also benefit from this media exposure. Now, if we look at the platform, there are a few features you can refer to when setting up the event to manage a bit the employer and student expectations. So the first one is that when you create the event, you can make the employer the host of the event page. Now, the benefit of that is that prior to the event, they can reach out to attendees via email, for example, with a personal message saying that they're really looking forward to seeing the attendees in their session. And this personal message relates a bit back to Lorena's key message of enabling companies to stand out. Now, you may also consider to help employers prepare for the session by setting up the feature that's called Submit a Question. And Submit a Question means that students, when they register for the event, you encourage them to answer a multiple choice or an open text field. where you encourage them to start a bit in their thinking process of how to ask a most relevant question, and employers have some insights on what they can expect during the live session. Now, to take it a bit a step further, you can also consider to place, for example, a top 10 of most common questions to ask employers, a bit of a summary that you can use for different kind of events, and you can place them in the resources model. And this way you help students to a bit further in their preparation, and you also give this information a bit of a sustainable place in your platform. Now, moving forward to after the event, we recommend to capture the student experience by gathering their feedback. We believe this is very valuable data and important because it gives you the opportunity to improve your formats and to analyze what went well and what we could do better next time. And when you create an event in the platform, you have the ability to insert basically a link of choice, such as Qualtrics, that's often very much used. And this link leads to a survey that will be sent out automatically to all participants after the event, which is highly convenient because you don't need to do it manually anymore. Now, also don't forget to follow up with the employers afterwards, especially if you captured that positive experience from students. It's worth it and thoughtful to celebrate the wins. So make sure that you distribute a bit of this success story further to employers, because for you as career services, this is also a touch point to further build a partner relationship and invite them back in the future. What we will now do, we will now move away from the event topics and go a bit further into a more global perspective. And
I'm sorry, but there were some questions in the chat about the event tool.
Okay.
Yeah, we were hoping to answer the questions at the end of the session.
Okay.
So that we can go cover all the topics.
Yeah, some interesting questions, and I feel it's better if we show them in the demo indeed after in the Q&A session. But we will get back to that in like 10 minutes approximately. Okay, so I was mentioning that we will move a bit more to the global perspective, and your go-to place to analyze what's happening in the platform is the statistics model. And I know this model can be a bit overwhelming, especially with all the filters, but therefore we encourage to navigate through it on a more recurrent basis to get familiar with how the model is set up. And the reason why I'm highlighting it is because it includes data that helps you understand the students' interests, which you can compare basically with your employer network. And simply said, comparing supply and demand, where you have the first step of what students are looking for with certain preferences, visualizing graphics. And then the second tab is all about your employer content. So it's data about jobs that have been posted in the past. And you can download these graphics, you can play around with the time frame filters and tailor your view with one key message basically. And that is, are we delivering in what employers are submitting versus what our young talents are looking for? And I think that's a good opportunity as well in the Q&A session, maybe to have a look at it in the demo. Now, the statistic model is really the global lens that is available for you. If you prefer to analyze a bit more in detail, you can go to the back office of the jobs model and go to the back office of the companies model. And there in the right upper corner, you will find an export button, basically. And if you click on it, all your data gets exported in an Excel file. And this gives you a lot of data on an individual level to analyze. But I will highlight a bit the goal of it. For example, you can look at 3 focus areas that might be of interest. So the first one is getting insight on diversity. So you can really look at this data and then analyze, okay, is there really a balanced mix between large companies? How well are we represented for the smaller SMEs? Are we having startups in our portfolio, NGOs, public institutions, and so on? You can also analyze what the most popular jobs are and the most application clicks and the most views, because you can use certain filters to rank the order, basically. And lastly, you may also want to consider to look at the last active employers, because you can filter on the employers that recently submitted the vacancy, or you can see if it has been a very long time that they have been submitting a vacancy. Now, once you have defined these focus areas, these building blocks, you can go to the next step. And the next step is creating this data, using this data to create a strategy and converting these building blocks into action plans. For example, if you have identified like, okay, we're not so well represented in the smaller company scope, but students nowadays love to work for young, fast-growing startups. You may want to consider embedding this in your acquisition strategy and, for example, organize a startup career week with companies, with young companies and small companies from your region. And that also gives you some, an opportunity to pioneer a bit and to test and learn on formats that might be exciting for students. Now that introduces us to the focus on the topic of acquiring new partners. Because now that you have some knowledge of what works well in your platform, either via the statistics model or via your export, you can basically craft a value proposition to the labor market. And I know some of you have a very commercial mindset that love to meet new people and new companies. And others might be a bit more limited in time perhaps and manpower. However, the recommendation we want to give you is to at least make sure that new employers can find you. And this starts a bit with outside job teaser, because you can start with creating a strong landing page on your website where you really take the time to reflect on, okay, what are really the benefits for a recruiter to use my university channel. And we think that's quite a fun exercise as well. You can, for example, create an infographic with the population of your students, the massive reach that employers will have in terms of number of students, obviously as well the diversity. So basically having one tool that reaches different programs, or perhaps certain skills or a current mindset that characterizes your pool of talents. You can also consider to catch the interest from new employers to make a testimonial video. For example, a project that you have done with another company that can be a career event, and that can inspire other prospective companies. Now, what we definitely recommend is also presenting your career services team and really giving the employability project and the platform a face to connect with. So make it personal and try to emphasize on your expertise and your human capital. So we have been looking at events, basically to facilitate the student-employer relationship. We have seen that you can use certain data as an advantage to attract new companies, which means we are now moving forward to the last part of our training. And more generally, we have talked a bit about building relationships, acquiring relationships, but what about employers that you work with for a while now? And we believe that these partnerships are valuable. Probably that's also the reason why you allocated the label to them, because you see them a bit of sustainable and strategic. Probably they know already by now how to use the platform. They can navigate through it, but also here our message is to keep them engaged throughout the whole year, basically. And a simple way to do so that we believe is scalable is creating kind of like your academic timeline, where you identify certain student-related key moments, such as the exam period, when the internship search starts, when your yearly career event is planned. And each of these moments are actually an opportunity for you to reach out to your employers with a call to action and a personal message. And this way you both give your employers visibility. You can basically send it out to all your employers, and you keep the dialogue going in a scalable way. Now, another thing that you could also do is to ask around if there are certain brand ambassadors within your employer network. This can be, for example, an alumni, a recent hire that now works at the company, or former interns. And we believe, and we hear and we see that they are in the best position actually to create content that students can relate to and that are authentic. And you can ask them to give a webinar about a day in the life of a nurse, of a consultant, for example, their experiences during the onboarding at the company, the upsides of working for company A or B. And this bit of storytelling will definitely be relevant to students, and it's also an opportunity to make the employer brand stand out. Now, this brings me to the concluding slide of this training, where we want to demonstrate how basically all the benefits that Lorena was pitching and the benefits that I was pitching can come together into a differentiation of services that employers can benefit and that you can offer to your employers. And we call these partnership packages. And these partnership packages you can create creatively by really defining the benefits and the different services that employers can book through you. And this way of thinking is definitely not a one-size-fits-all. So what you see on the screen here is just an example. And the starting message is that we do encourage to always keep everything low threshold for companies to post a job, as this free of charge route and diversity vision is a core advantage of our ecosystem. However, these partnership packages you can pioneer with and experiment with, and give some visibility as well for your employer pool. Now, our recommendation is to not only focus on the online services and on the platform, but really taking a more broad view of your internal network and combining these online services with on-site services, and make different channels come together and complement each other. Now we arrive now at the end of our training. we want to thank you already for being with us today. For the partners that know me well, this is usually the moment where I say time for coffee. But first, me and Lorena will take the floor together, and we will move forward with the Q&A session.
Yes.
Yeah, we can start with the questions in the chat maybe, and then we also please feel free to raise your hand by clicking on the raise your hand button, okay. And then we will.
Do you want me to take the first question?
There. Yes, please. Perfect.
Okay, so Mona is asking, how can you create and assign the different partnership levels? Does it depend on your type of contract with Job Teaser? So Mona, I will not show you like in detail how you create the different partnership levels, because it's something technical that we do on our side, but it does not depend on your contract with Job Teaser. This is a tool available for everyone. It is just as simple as letting us know how many partnership levels you would like to create, and the name and the order, and your own contact at Job Teaser will create it for you. And then you will be able to assign it to each of your companies very easily. So no, it does not depend on your contract. All of you can do it. Because it's something so simple, I advise you to directly write your main contact at Job Teaser with that information, how many levels you would like to create, how you want to call them, and the order, and they will take it from there. Valentine, you already gave her answer, sorry. Well, I share the answer with all of you in case you have the same question. Do you want to take the next question, Val?
Yeah, which question did you just? It was
the one you gave answer to Mona about the different partnership levels.
From Mona, okay. Perfect. Yeah, so maybe I can do the one from Milja. Can students choose if they send their CV to the talent bank, or are they automatically downloaded if they add the CV to the system? Yeah, so there are two steps in that basically. So the first step is the university deciding if they open up the talent bank to certain employers. And if yes, the partnership level is basically the benchmark of it, where you decide like everyone with partnership level X has access to the talent bank. But it's always the student deciding voluntarily if they upload the CV or not. But if they decide to do so, it indeed arrives automatically in the talent bank. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, if that's clear, I will take Leo's question. He would like to know if we can create notes on a company which are only visible to the career services. For example, to help follow leads on partnerships, make note of internal contacts, etc. And no, Leo, the answer is no. The company profile is something that is created especially to be visible for the students. So if you would like to do this kind of internal tracking, definitely the company profile will not be the tool for it. We are talking about ways to give brand visibility for the company. So that's the objective. Everything that you introduce in the company profile, it is visible for the students in the front office. Yeah, I hope that answers the question. If you want, I can take Mona's next question as well. Could we need to get students' permission to share their CVs with companies when they get access to the talent bank, or did they agree to this automatically by creating the Job Teaser profile? So yes, Mona, when a student uploads the CV, there is a window, there is a text about GDPR, it's GDPR compliant, and it's about them giving their, I don't remember the exact wording, but they are giving their consent for their CV to be shared within their career services. And I think it says something like the administrators of the platform and the companies in the platform, something like this. So it is compliant. What we can do, or what you can do, is ask your point of contact at your business to share this a screenshot with you so you can see directly what is the exact text that the students are agreeing to when they upload the CV. But the short answer is yes, they are giving permission when they upload the CV.
Perfect, thank you.
It help.
Okay, so I will move forward with Alexandra's question, which I think is an interesting one. Is it possible to make the event public, that students can see it and register without logging into Job Teaser? This is definitely possible. If you share an event, you can see the main page of it. However, if you really want to register, you need to log into Job Teaser. So my advice would be here to pick this question up with your main point of contact at Job Teaser, and I think he or she can demonstrate then how it works.
I think Mona has many questions about the events model. That's great. I think it will be really good for you, Mona, because I think that you want to use it, right, and go into detail. So probably having a one-on-one session about the events module with your contact at Job Teaser will be super useful for you. But of course, let's go to your question regarding the questions feature, right? What Valentine was showing, that you can add like some kind of questionnaire at the end within the event for students to answer when they register. It is actually very easy. I do not want to spend too much time to show you, but when you create an event, the most important thing is that you need to select the option registration via Job Teaser. There are different options for the students to register, and one says registration via Job Teaser. And when you click this option, then there are many more options that open for you. And it's in those extra options where you will see the possibility to add questions for the students. So I invite you to give it a try and see if you can find it. But nevertheless, I think it will be really nice for you to ask for this kind of one-on-one session about events, because there are many different options, a lot of potential on what you can do with the tool. So I think it will be probably very, very useful for you. I'm going to answer. You are all asking about the presentation, and yes, at the end of the session, you are going to get an email with the recording of this presentation.
Perfect, Lorena. Leo definitely pointed out an interesting comment about the ability to make private notes, basically in your employer pool directly in the platform. And I do see the value of it, because you can really make some notes as well about your last touch points that you had with your employer. But unfortunately, currently, we don't have a solution for it to facilitate it. But yeah. I see already in the chat that other people are quite excited about a feature like this.
Also like the idea. Yeah, we will definitely share this internally with the product team, because this is how new ideas come together. So we will share this for sure. And if at some point we have any news about it, we will let you know. But yeah, great suggestion. We definitely take note.
Exactly. Thanks, Leo, for pointing this out. Yeah. Then Lisa had a question about assigning a company as a partner when they already have a company profile at Job Teaser. Yes, actually, this is something we didn't have in the past, but we received a lot of feedback that universities love this, and obviously our global partners at Job Teaser would love this as well, because they didn't need to create new profiles. So it is possible to give, let's call them global direct employers from Job Teaser, a partnership label. So then they kind of have the best of both worlds. And it's always you as career services deciding who you want to give the label to. So regardless of it, if it's a partner that works directly with job teaser via multi-posting partnership, or if it's a company profile that was created directly via your employer entrance.
We are a bit in advance, which is amazing. If you want, I can show you very quickly how to do that, because it's something very simple. So if you can still see my screen, if we go to your admin view and we go to the company profile, this is answering Lisa's a question live to show you. So if you see a company that you would like to assign them as partner, right? But they already have a profile in the Career Center. So let's take, for example, the example of Amazon that we were seeing earlier today. You will see that they already have a profile because they are a corporate partner of Job Teaser, and we work together. But you will still like to show them as partner of your own university. So what we can do is we take, for example, Amazon's profile, and we can click on Edit here. And there are only two things that you can do. One is to assign them as corporate partner. So you can give them the label of being your partner, which would put them, as we saw, at the top of the list of companies. And you can also add a custom message that it will be only visible for your own students. So it's also to give them some more feeling of attachment, of partnership, right? On top of the label of partnership, you can also add a message for your students. For example, so the career services of this university work very closely with the EMEA HR department in Amazon. We recommend you to apply for these opportunities, blah, 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 for example. So this message will only be visible for your students, not for the company, not for anyone else, than for your students. So this is how you will do, you will mark them as partners, even if they already have a company profile in the platform. I hope it was more clear maybe this way.
Thank you, Lorena. I could take the next one, interesting one from Mariana. She's asking about the partnership levels and basically defining the ranking order between them. So for example, if you put gold above silver and silver above bronze, this is definitely possible. However, your main point of contact, which is me, Lorena, or any of our other colleagues in the team, they have to do an intervention in the back office of the framework of the platform to process your request, basically, and then you can decide on the ranking order. Yeah, and then maybe also good to mention, if you don't decide on any partnership level, then it's always the company that edited something in the company profiles that appears at the top, basically. So the employer who is most active kind of gets rewarded. But if you use the certain labels, you can define like, okay, label A first, label B then, and label C afterwards.
Yes, I think to complete Valentine's answer, it will be exactly that. Like, you decide the order. It's not because one label was created later that it appears after or anything. You decide the order. We can change it. If you tell us we want to add an additional level of partnership and we want it to appear first, you will let us know and we will reorder it for you. And as Valentine was also just mentioning, on top of the partnership level, within the gold partners, for example, the order will be based on more recent activity, which profile has been edited the latest. So you have all the gold partners, and within the 10 gold partners, the one whose profile has been edited the last one will appear on top. So this is how it will be organized between levels and within each level of partnership. I'm very proud of ourselves that we are super on time. And that's fantastic. If you have any additional question or any comment, something very important we also would like to share with you is we always do after each training a quick survey to gather your feedback and know how you think the session went. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to share the link to the survey with you. And it would be really, really great if you could please share it, fill it, sorry. Like that we can even improve for next session. And yes, I said if you have any additional questions, we have like 1 minute left.
Okay, I think now it's really time for coffee.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks again for being with us today, and yeah, feel free to reach out to us directly or to any of our colleagues.
Yeah, thank you very much all for dedicating us this hour of your morning. Again, if you can fill out the survey, we'll be very thankful. And for any questions not answered or for any extra information, reach out to us. We are here for that. And you will be receiving the recording and the slides by email later.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.